Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Unnamed Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tempus B, for this week. I am joined, as always, by Nettle Creates and Bendy Costuming, I'm going to go with, because of Twitter.
Yep, that's right. Correct. Hello, Tempus. I am Bendy. How, guys? The Admiral.
Admiral. I am Nettle, the general.
Tempus, who are you?
Me, I happen to be the Marshal, idiot. So we are here to talk about games. Can you believe it?
Okay.
No, I believe it. I'm sorry. I'm in a very strange mood today.
Never apologise. So, as always, we start off with what we've been playing this week, and I shall hand it over to Nettle to find out what Nettle's been up to.
So, I actually have something this week that is slightly out of the ordinary. It's a very old game that I used to play when I was a teenager. Yeah, let's go with teenager. And it's called Lionheart: Legacy of a Crusader, and it's this really cool little action role-playing game. It's a 3/4 isometric camera angle kind of click and point game, and it's about the Crusaders. It's set in that period, but it's got if magic was real, and you can choose a little faction to be with. You could be like a wizard, or you could be a crusader, or you can be the really nasty Spanish Inquisition. And you do actually get to torture people. It's kind of horrible. But yeah, it's really like an older but cool, still holds up game. And it just brought me back to my teenage years of gaming by myself. It isn't a multiplayer, it's just a single player. But yeah, it's a fun little click and point game, really.
Sounds fun. I don't think I've actually ever heard of it. So
no, well, it was published by Black Isle Studios and developed by somebody called Reflexive Entertainment, and I've never heard them having made anything else at all. It did middling. Really, it was mixed. It wasn't great. Because the thing is, it came out when it was trying to do the Diablo thing, so it wasn't as good as Diablo, but it wasn't bad, and I enjoyed it. Still to this day, have never finished it, mind you, because it gets very difficult. Because it has depending on what faction you go to, or you get like different tree branches with it, and if you fuck up and don't do something quite right and get the wrong amount of points for this, that, or the other, you just can't go forward. It just gets too difficult, and you basically have to start again, which is what I always had to do. But now that I've got a little better with my gaming, as I've got older, I'm restarting it again. And it's cool. You can also, my favourite bit of it is you can be a thief as well. Like, you can join the Thief Guild, and stealing off people is really fun in this game. Just like
what made you go back and play that?
I did that really weird thing of having a thought. I remembered it just randomly for no reason whatsoever. I just had a thought.
Curse you, memory.
Curse you, memory.
A headache with pictures.
Exactly. Something like that. And and I was like, I wonder if that's available on Steam. And it was like £6. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to buy that. I went back and started playing with them. I'm only about an hour in, which isn't very much at all for this game. It's got a very long preamble, but it's a nostalgic memory for me. So I don't know how well I'll feel going further into the game, and whether the reason why it had such mixed reviews when it came out will start to really crop at me now that I kind of know more about the style of gaming. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a silly game. It's nothing to be taken seriously. Not from 2003 when it came out, anyway.
No, it's always nice to go back to something that you tried a long time ago, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I like when I was a teenager going into my early 20s, I never play a game like this, like a click and point game, ever. But since then, I've played things like Diablo 1, 2, and 3. Well, mostly 3, actually. But that's, you learn from it and you get better at doing that kind of thing and you understand where you should be putting your skill points. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that I can get further on and actually finish it for once and find out what happens at the end.
Well, you'll have to let us know.
I will. Maybe in about 3 years' time.
Finish a game, hardly know her.
I know, right?
Right, Bendy, what have you been up to this week?
Move along.
Aww.
I've been quite busy and I've just had no time to play anything apart from my usual Thursday night Back for Blood and Animal Crossing because I restarted my island and now I want it to be 5-star again. But I am planning I'm planning to bring something strange that looks strange on Game Pass for next week. So we'll come back in then.
Excellent.
Can we just say, while Bendy's on, a big well done, because Bendy was in the competition for MCM on Birmingham on Saturday, which is why she was so busy. Didn't win anything, but very brave to go ahead and get on stage in any case. So big well done to Bendy.
Thank
well
you.
done, Bendy.
Thank you. And I liked my costume. It was like the most comfortable costume I've ever actually had. So, and I want to wear it every single day. Live my Victorian life.
So not playing games, but definitely still something to talk about what she was doing.
Yes. Sorry for being busy.
They know we've talked about cosplay before.
They all know what we're like.
Yeah, just finishing touches and things like that before a convention is not the best, and I procrastinated a lot. But I've got a weekend completely free of everything, so I'm just gonna sit in my pajamas playing games. Yes, I can.
Yay.
Yeah. Tempus.
This is like my favourite time of the week.
That's me. Yes. Well, I didn't actually have anything weird that I played this week, really.
Yes, you did. You played something on Monday.
Yeah, I played something on Monday, but not compared to what I've normally played, like strangeness. It was a game on Game Pass called The Little Acre. It was basically I would say like a point and click adventure puzzle type game. Basically, you play this father and his daughter, and you kind of going to this portal into this alternate world, looking for the missing granddad, and you basically got to get your way back home. But it literally took me like an hour and 45 minutes to finish it. It wasn't very long at all. But I mean, it's good fun. I quite like point and click, puzzle games and that. It's just the majority of them are all like quite old now. You think about it; they're not very popular these days. I don't think.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones.
On the flip side, I did actually play my first game of D&D for the longest time.
Yay!
We started a new campaign. We're on a world that is like 95% water.
Oh wow!
So that'll be fun. So, but yes, it's been it was good to get back into the swing of things because it's been a long time.
That's exciting.
I suggest play more because I did play D&D, of course. Because when am I not playing D&D? But like I don't roll higher than a 10. It's just my curse. But I got 2 nat 20s on Saturday. On Sunday, sorry, 2 nat 20s.
Love it.
Great.
Well, I mean, you say that. We are going to be having a little pre unnamed D&D session with the 3 I've asked Nettle, Andy, and Hole to join me to basically give them a quick run through course, so they kind of half know what they're doing before we get started.
Ooh.
Yes. So that we are well on the way to starting our own D&D campaign for the podcast. Look out for that in the future.
Yeah.
Yay!
You can see my insane RP, you guys. Be ready. I get really into it.
That's fine. That's fine, because I'm looking forward to it. I love D&D, and it'll just. I think it'll be good to kind of. I don't know, like we haven't really thought out the specifics, so like of when and how often we're going to do sessions for you, but we'll try to keep them like a semi-regular basis. I'd like to think, just so that we don't forget about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
yes.
just dropped a bomb on you guys. We're
Another-
gonna start a D&D cafe.
It's an
Another one.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you've got that to look forward to. I think we might even like when we know kind of more of like the timings and things like that, you might get a few sneak peeks of potential characters and like a world map before we get going. So watch this space.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Okay, so we now have our news for the week.
Ah, yes.
And I think I'll let Nettle start with this because it's kind of like a joint effort.
Yes, our news this week is, as many of you will have known, on, I believe it was Tuesday, yesterday, the Gaming Awards showed off their nominees for each category. Now, there are an awful lot of categories in the Gaming Awards. Not all of them are welcome, I can tell you that. But we have selected a few to let people know. Now, the Gaming Awards are voted for by public, so if any of these strike your fancy and you really want this particular game to win, make sure you go over to thegamingawards.com and vote for whatever you want. If it doesn't win because you didn't vote, then it didn't win, and it is your fault.
You there sitting listening, it's your fault. You.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you heard.
Yeah. Come on, guys. But
Unbelievable.
I know, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
This guy, eh?
Just alienating our
Really,
audience, it's fine.
I'm so sorry. I don't.
One listener we've got.
Yeah. I'm sorry, listener. I actually love you with like all of my heart. I'm just. I don't know.
Okay, so I will start off with the big one, the game of the year, and the nominees for that were Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift in Time, and Resident Evil Village.
Good choice of games, I think. There.
Yeah, I haven't got a problem with any of those, to be honest.
I don't know whether this year's just been weird, but I didn't think they all came out this year. Like, I know Psychonauts 2 did, and I know Deathloop did. But
I feel like
did.
I feel like they all came out at the latter half of this year as well, all those ones.
Yeah, there was literally nothing. There was literally nothing at the beginning of the year, was there? When was RE? Because that feels like it was at the beginning of the year, but it was September.
That was
wasn't it?
September, yeah.
Was it really? In my head, I thought it was like February or something.
No. Re-Village was much later in the year. Because everybody was playing it, like, around September.
I think loads of stuff dropped for it at the beginning of the year, and then you had a bunch of cosplays coming out of it, didn't you? So that's probably why I think it's earlier, because people were cosplaying it when it wasn't out. That's probably
no, I am stand corrected. It was May.
May. Oh,
I did think it was earlier in the year.
Jesus.
I have no idea what day it is. Who am I?
That's a
you still got Lady Demetrescu in your head. That's all it is.
I just want to be sat on. It's fine.
I didn't like her as a character. If I was going to go for it, like anybody, it would be Angie. It would be the creepy doll.
Let's not go into
No?
that.
So yeah, the other games.
Yeah. So what do you think's going to win? Though.
Metroid Dread.
You reckon?
Yep.
I mean, I've only played one of those games, and I mean, not being funny, it would get my vote regardless of what I played there, and that would be Ratchet and Clank.
I don't know that it was very good. It absolutely, definitely needed to be nominated for it. It was so good. I just think Metroid is going to clinch it.
But see, I've heard more about Ratchet and Clank than I have about Metroid.
But is that just because who you're talking to and like the people that you follow? Because everybody I know loved Metroid Dread.
The thing is, I didn't
Possibly,
even
but it
really
is-
register that it'd come out.
Yeah,
I've not
same.
seen that much about it for me to then go, it's been wild.
Interesting.
I think it's like hardcore within the Metroid fandom, and the Metroid fandom is big. But outside of that, like, I'm not a Ratchet and Clank fan. I don't have a PlayStation, but I've heard a lot about Ratchet and Clank.
You're welcome.
For me, it would be Psychonauts 2 because it's the only one I've actually played.
Yeah.
And I played Resident Evil and I liked it. It was fine, but I don't know. It's my own personal thing. It's just Psychonauts. I haven't even completed it. Whereas I've completed Village, but it's a nice game. But then again, I imagine that's what people think about Ratchet and Clank because they're in that same sort of platforming. What am I trying to say? Mascot platformer. That's the kind of the fun, colourful sort of thing. So I don't know. It could be anything. I've heard nothing about It Takes Two. So.
Oh, It Takes Two is fantastic. I played half of it with Hull. We've yet to finish it just because of time and stuff, but it was so good. Game-wise, really good gameplay, really good controls. Story was emotional. It was really emotional. Like, it really hit you. And I dread to kind of get to the next part because I think that one's going to be even like more emotional, like story-wise. But it was a good one. I
can't get into that again.
It looks good from what I could see when I was watching you play it.
It is good.
And I have watched a little bit of Deathloop, and Deathloop does look really good. But like, it's weird because I noticed it with films when I was growing up as well. It's like when a premise for something comes out, there's always like 2 or 3 come out at the same time. And you had Deathloop, Returnal, and that 12 minutes all come out more or less on top of each other, all about like time loops. It's just that it might just be me noticing coincidences, but you just thought there's so many time loop games all at once. But it did look really good.
The only problem with Deathloop is it being a timed exclusive.
See, that's.
But then again, there are a lot of PlayStation fans, so if it's votable by...
Oh, it was a console. Hang on.
so...
Let's just get this right. It was a console timed exclusive because it came out on PC as well as PS.
Yeah, so I don't get to play it until September next year.
No, you don't.
When it will come on Game Pass. It's Bethesda.
See, I never played Deathloop. I know a few people that did, and they liked it, but they had some complaints about it, and the complaints were basically they couldn't get to play Juliana, which is like once you've beaten the game, you get to go on to a second part of the game where you play another person who kind of starts invading other people's. It's very complicated. Go look it up yourself because I'm not going to explain it here. But they couldn't play as this secondary character because they could never get into a match. And to me, that feels like a very integral part of the game that you couldn't play. So to me, that feels like it shouldn't have been nominated because there was a very, very bad flaw in that particular design.
But what else came out?
Well, I think that's the thing.
Would it have just been It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Village?
It's quite possible, yeah. Actually,
'Cause
say that. I actually think Kena and the Bridge of Spirits should have been nominated for Game of the Year. Over
Yeah, the problem
Deathloop.
is though, there are no indie titles on that, which is disappointing.
Yeah, It Takes Two is an indie title.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, I get what you're meaning there, Bendy. They don't ever nominate indie titles for Game of the Year, and it pisses me off.
Well, at least you got It Takes Two on there, though.
Yeah, but
I didn't realise
generally speaking, yeah, I see anything. I think maybe Hades was on there, but I mean,
that would have been last year, wouldn't it?
yeah, I think so.
Well,
Anyway, we rambled.
Yes, the next category is best game direction, and you've heard most of these games already. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift in Time, and Returnal.
Yeah.
See, now I've not seen much of Returnal, but like from the adverts, like and some of the early gameplay, it did look really interesting. But like I said, it's the same kind of premise as Deathloop, but I feel like this is Deathloop's more of a like it felt more like a story game, whereas Returnal felt more like a roguelike, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So Returnal is a roguelike, but it does have a very good story to it as well. It's a really, really, really mind-bending story as well.
Yeah. So I mean, from that point of view, I mean even Psychonauts 2, just because of like when Benny was talking about it the other week, it's very much like in your head kind of thing, story wise. I think probably one of them. To be honest with you, any of them would probably could easily win that. I think any of them at all.
I mean, they all had a really good premise, and they all got to where they needed to be, and you know, the direction of the game was really good. You know, there may have been some issues in between, but I actually think Ratchet and Clank might win that one.
Well, I wouldn't say no to that.
Well, go and vote.
Go vote. Go vote.
I'm going to vote. I'm voting Ratchet and Clank in every category.
Oh my god.
But that one doesn't have Ratchet and Clank, and neither does that one.
Yeah, I'll just type it in the comments section. It'd be fine.
Ratchet and Clank.
Most community support Ratchet and Clank.
It's just me with a million different emails.
That's how I vote for everything. Use all of my 25 emails.
All of the emails.
I guess it's me. It me next. So best narrative: Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange: True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2. So again, we've got a few on there that we've had before. I've heard that the Guardians story is great. I've not played it, but it is very good, and people have really enjoyed the story. But I feel like it's just too soon. It's very new, isn't it? It's like been out for a few weeks.
Not everyone's going to have played this yet.
Yeah. And like your real true, it's a story game would be True Colors, but I've heard mixed reviews on it, and it's not as good as the other Life is Strange. Life is Strange. The other Life is Strange games. So I think this might be a bit of a it could be anyone. It could be anyone's choice, really.
I hope It Takes Two gets the best narrative. I genuinely think out of all of those, it did have the best narrative.
I've noticed like quite a few of these games though, they all deal with like kind of very like really sensitive issues is what I might want to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that obviously drives the story, but like, good to see that they're getting kind of noticed for taking like these like I keep saying like hard hitting kind of faults and demons that people have to go through, and kind of showing that they're not alone with these kind of things. And I've kind of gone off on a tangent now. You could have to stop me.
No, I understand what you mean. Being able to relate to real people is what drives a best narrative. This is why I don't think Deathloop's going to be top on this, because all of well, I'm not sure about Guardians, to be honest, but all of the other ones hit your real life scenarios, which people can really relate to. And if you were saying that It Takes Two is quite emotional, Nettle, then again, same thing. So it's probably going to be Life is Strange or It Takes Two. Out of those two, I reckon.
I agree. I think so. Cool. Next one, best multiplayer: Back 4 Blood, Knockout City, It Takes Two, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, and Valheim. I was very pleased to see Valheim in that one, actually. The teeny tiny little game that it is, against all of the massive ones.
It's kind of strange though, because I saw so much about it when it first came out, and then it kind of like after about a week I saw nothing else of it.
So the thing is with that, they cancelled their DLCs, I think because they just got a little bit too ambitious. So what was going to be DLCs for the rest of the year just didn't happen. There is going to be a DLC. It's coming out soon. I can't tell you off the top of my head when it's going to be. But yeah, that's basically why it died off, because it didn't have any more momentum going forwards. And then you had other things like, well, all of the rest of those games that came out, especially New World, which I really hate to say it, I think might win.
It seems to be quite popular, doesn't it?
But I don't want Jeff Bezos getting any more money.
Jeffrey Bezos. I'm singing today. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? I've never heard of it.
You did it. Sorry, very bad.
I don't even know what it is. So, I mean, I'm gonna get. Oh, Prima's gaming now. Cool. Cool story, bro. I mean, is it? I guess it's an MMORPG, right? Just from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like along the lines of like Ark or something like that, where you kind of build your settlement or whatever, and yeah.
Our friend Grosjean played it quite a lot when it first came out. I think he's a content creator, an official content creator for it, actually, but yeah, it's it never appealed to me. Those kind of games don't, though. I will admit.
No, I don't have the time or energy to grind in big open world games like that.
It just looks like an Elder Scrolls Online clone to me. I am just literally looking at the screenshot gallery.
Angry people going, it's nothing like that.
I mean, it's a fantasy MMO. I could go, it looks like World of Warcraft. Get the same reaction, really.
It's not top down.
These are opinions of us that have probably only watched the game and not played it ourselves. But like I said, I'm not that kind of gamer, so
yeah,
it just doesn't appeal to me, unfortunately. But
I tried Valheim and then got very annoyed with it after like the 20th time I got killed by a tree falling on me, and I was a bit like, this is bullshit. I'm out.
Bullshit out.
Shit, but yeah, unfortunately, I think New World will win. I don't particularly think it deserves it, but you have to go with popularity on these things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what about Back 4 Blood?
I never played it.
That's all I've been hearing people talk about, but it might be the circles that I'm in.
Yeah, Andy played it and enjoyed it with his
friends. Mostly you talking about it?
Me by myself with
no other friends. It's just 4 copies of Bendy all just sat there.
just me sitting here talking to myself, going, this game is bullshit. I mean, it's good, but can you just like make it a little bit easier on your easiest setting, please? Sorry, I'm raging about it because I'm on Act 4 and I just want to complete it and I can't because it's too hard. It's too hard. And I played a little bit of Lockout City. That was quite fun, but I don't think that's going to win anything.
No.
So,
Moving on.
yeah. Moving on.
It's me then, is it? It's best ongoing game. So our nominees are Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Final Fantasy XIV, Genshin Impact, and Fortnite.
I'm so
It's gonna be
pissed off with
Fortnite.
these. I'm so pissed off with these nominations.
It's gonna be Fortnite because your
No,
children who play Fortnite are gonna go in and vote.
possibly. I think Final Fantasy actually might get it this year, and I actually won't be annoyed if it does. But I'm sorry, I have to get my complaint in. The best ongoing game, Warzone, was picked over Destiny 2. Not having it. Not having it.
No,
all right? How
no.
is Warzone better than Destiny 2?
It's full of bugs and cheats and everything, and it's still got on there.
Our last
Is it
3 seasons have been the best seasons that Destiny has ever had. And Warzone.
Is it solely numbers? Because Destiny is Destiny 2 has its fan base, but Warzone, it has like those casual people coming in from the Call of Duty community. So if it's just based on how many people are actually playing Warzone, you may have more people playing Warzone than Destiny. And I agree, it should be Destiny over Warzone because, as things that people have just said, but they might just go like everybody's playing Apex and everyone is playing Warzone and everyone's playing Fortnite.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. This is the Gaming Awards we're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
So it's just solely on players actually playing now.
Mm.
Possibly. It's a, like I said, there's definitely a couple of games I think might have had a good shout there, but if it's all down to the amount of people playing, because Apex has had a big resurgence, I think, recently as well, hasn't it?
It absolutely has, yeah. Although, you know, they literally had 2 whole weeks when the last season came. Not this season that's come out, the last season, where nobody could play anything because of their servers. I'm so angry. I don't know if you can tell.
No, you're not angry. What are you talking about?
I've never known you to be angry.
Angry.
No rage here. We don't
Moving
rage
on.
in every single freaking
Seriously,
episode,
moving
do we?
on before I turn into a complete grouch.
Okay, best art direction. Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and The Artful Escape. Now, this one, I feel, could be quite difficult. Because the only one I don't know on there is Artful Escape.
I've never heard of that.
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, is it? Interesting.
I'm just...
Let's still have a look, shall we?
Have a look. The Artful Escape.
Oh, that does look pretty.
Oh, that's pretty.
Interesting. Did
So
get
you've
80% on Metacritic. That's not bad.
You've got 5 very different art styles there.
Yeah.
I personally love the arcane art style, so I love Dishonored, and they have a brighter version of that within Deathloop, and I think they are great at their art design. So not that I've played Deathloop, but knowing and seeing a bit of gameplay, I can see why that's chosen for that. Some people may be voting for it too, and I feel similarly about Psychonauts 2. That art style is really, really nice as well.
I bet I know what Tempus are going to be voting for.
Yes. Told you, every category.
Every category. See, I'm putting my lot in for Kena on this one. The art style in Kena was just gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous.
I will say Kena looked great from what I see, and Psychonauts looked great. Deathloop, like, it probably wasn't from my point of view, wasn't the most over the top with it kind of thing, like with its art style, but it still looked great.
Yeah,
I think it was quite a simple art style, but they made it look like really good.
it is gonna be a difficult one. Every single one of those looks gorgeous, in my opinion.
Yeah, now I've looked at Artful Escape. I saw an indie game a few years back at EGX, which had this kind of similar art style too, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I can't remember the name of it now, which is really, really bad. But it's just this sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. But it is very pretty, and now I want to kind of play it.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, if it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Kina's got a very, to me, Pixar.
Yes.
Like, if you showed somebody who wasn't into gaming, didn't know this, just a screenshot of their main thing where she's holding this stuff and has all the little things around her, I can't remember what they're called, those little cute things. People go, "Oh, is that a Pixar movie?"
Yeah, no, it very much. It was very cinematic in the way.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because Pixar have a great art style. So just shows that their inspiration. But yeah, I think this one's going to be so difficult, and it's going to be on a real tight.
It's nice that they've chosen such different art styles as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. So next one, best score and music. So we got Cyberpunk 2077, Deathloop, Near Replicant, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and The Artful Escape again. I have played precisely 0 of those games, so I couldn't tell you.
I mean, I think Guardians will have a massive chance here because they made a soundtrack for it. Yeah. But then they also made a streaming soundtrack so that no one would get DCMA'd, and they literally like at the beginning of it, they have made and written an entire album for this fictional band for the game.
Wow.
That's very cool, because they want it to be a streamable game, but they also don't want people to not stream it because they've got licensed music. I feel like this is bringing up a whole different issue here. Something that I heard in a podcast earlier today about licensed music in gaming, and how licensed music can really do good things for a game, but that means that game cannot be streamed. I'm going to talk about that when I'm hosting next. Cut it out. Never mind. But yeah, teaser. But yeah, if they've created a whole band worth of music, that's pretty cool.
It's applaudable because they're thinking of their audiences, both off and on screen, as it were. Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
It did have its good music, I thought, from what I could hear from it.
The stuff they did for Johnny Silverhand's band was quite cool, but that's like the kind of music that I tend to like anyway.
Yeah.
But it's nothing outstanding. Like we've had a discussion about how score can really affect you when we talked about Breath of the Wild. Cyberpunk didn't have that, and it's like its world sound, which I also include in score, is just, I don't know, it's just a bit bland in my eyes, and I think people tend to hate the game in general. So I just don't think people would be voting for that, which is quite sad, because people did work really hard on it. But yeah, it's probably Guardians. Maybe we should go and look out the rest of these games. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it might be time. I never know, it might go on to Game Pass.
Right, next one. So we had discussed this a little bit earlier, but best independent game. So we've got Death's Door, Kena. Is that Inscription?
Yeah, I think so. Never heard of
Loop Hero and 12 Minutes. So Loop Hero just sounds like another time loop game, but I heard good things about 12 Minutes. I did plan to play it, but I never actually got around to it.
I have it again. I haven't got around to play it. We've gone on about Kina in a previous episode about there were some failings with it, but I did love it. But I actually really want Death's Door to win this one. It's so cute.
See, I'm not sure I know what that is. I
So-
feel like I've heard of it, but
It's I'm probably going to get this wrong and everyone's going to have a go at me.
I'm
It's a
going to Google it.
roguelike type game, kind of Souls-like as well. And you
Right.
run around as a little bird, I think it is.
He looks like a little raven.
Yeah,
A little raven.
it's adorable.
Little
Now, I
baby.
haven't played this, but my partner, Codmage, has, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And he was really
It does
looking
look really
forward to
good.
it as well. So I
Oh.
really hope that one wins.
This
But
looks
only
incredible.
if Kina gets art direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
reading Souls,
I might play this.
Yeah, I would.
reading Souls of the Dead and punching a clock might get monotonous, but it's honest work for a crow. It's a crow.
Yeah.
That's just hooked me. I want to play.
It was
sorry.
an anticipated indie game, and it came out, and it did as well as people hoped it would, and they were really wanting to play it, and everybody really loved it. You can't ask for much more from an indie game from that, you know?
No, and I just wish I hear more about them.
Yeah, I mean, I am quite lucky that a lot of the games like these weird little indie games, I hear a lot from my other half because he just loves indie games. Like that's pretty much exclusively what he plays. But
Yeah.
you just yeah. Maybe we need to have a separate podcast for indie games.
We'll have an indie week.
Indie week, yeah.
Just looking at Inscription as well. Looks like a card-based game.
Okay.
Cool art style though. That's what I absolutely love about indie games is they tend to have just like really cool art styles. Inscription is an inky black card-based odyssey that blends deck building, roguelike, escape room style puzzles, and psychological horror in a
Oh,
blood-laced smoothie, darker still than the secrets inscribed upon the cards. That sounds-
Jesus.
That's quite up my street.
Does sound it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, overwhelmingly positive reviews.
That's always good.
I'm gonna look up Loop Hero now, but I'm guessing you do loops.
See that? This feels like it's again like going to be like a roguelike one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong thing.
Oh dear. Porn.
No, I think I clicked. No, it was the right thing. But the art style for this is very much NES or SNES. That sort of
Well, like 8-bit.
Yeah.
8-bit. Yeah, couldn't think of the word. I couldn't think of the word 8-bit. What an idiot. RPG. Oh, but those little faces are really cute.
God, we've lost her.
Oh, you've lost me.
We've lost her.
Hello, that looks quite cool. Very no, I'm flicking through it. Very reminiscent of the original Fallouts
Oh, okay.
Oh yes.
from the looks of it. So you've got like dungeon rooms, like it's blocky. So there's lots of blocks and things. I guess you build stuff and craft. I give that one a go too.
Mm.
Interesting.
And then 12 minutes.
We do like independent games here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, independent studios.
Woo-hoo.
Cool.
It looks like they've got some decent games on there then.
Yeah,
your
that one's a good choice. Very different from each other as well. Well,
Indeed.
Yeah. Onwards.
Next.
Next.
Yay! Best community support. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, or No Man's Sky. There you go, Destiny 2's on there.
Yeah,
Are you happy now?
we do not have the best community.
I've just read that. I just read that, and instantly in my head was No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
It could be because they are trying because it's community support, so they're trying to make that game the game that they wanted it to be. So they are constantly supporting it.
I suppose, yeah.
I guess.
I mean, if we're going for the community support managers, yes, Destiny 2 absolutely has the best community support managers. DMG is just our babe. We love him, as well as Cosmo and the rest of them. But it's probably going to be Final Fantasy. Absolutely. Our community is divided between lovely people who want to help everybody and love the game and complete shitheads. So
no middle ground.
No middle ground.
Let's alienate our whole audience here, but isn't that all gamers though?
Wow. I think most community-based games definitely have that divide of wonderful or shitheads.
Does that make me a shithead then?
No, you're wonderful. Do you play with people and like not complain to their faces? No,
I swear to myself.
Exactly.
He's typing it out to you while he's playing with me. Why is Becky so bad at everything?
I think
never do that.
I think Final Fantasy will get this one again simply because it's a popularity contest.
Going for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Indeed.
There's not much more to say about those ones, really, is there?
Fans are insane.
Crazy.
Love them.
Moving on, as we've just lost our last listener. Best action adventure game: Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Psychonauts 2. I'm not
all new games.
Yeah, lovely. I'm not 100% sure that Resident Evil should be put in action adventure, but okay. More horror adventure.
No, isn't it a horror survival?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as much horror survival as Resident Evil should be. But yes, it's not action adventure. It's not. It should not be on that list. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a game, but like it's a horror base, not an action adventure. Yeah. That's weird. That's weird.
I suppose this is where the blurred lines of what is action adventure. Because I wouldn't pit something like Metroid Dread as action adventure either, because it has its own like little niche section, and then it's a Metroid. It's linear.
Its own thing.
Yeah,
Metroidvania. They have their own title of their version of games, so I guess they needed to pad it out a little bit.
I'm just gonna say, no, it's just freaking.
The only one that's real action adventure on there is probably Guardians, right?
No, I think I called Ratchet and Clank definitely is action adventure. Yeah, you're adventuring and you're seeing action at the same time.
Yeah, but I always think of Ratchet and Clank as platformers for me. But it could be different now. I don't know. I know nothing.
No, you know stuff.
No. I mean, I will give them that there's probably not a huge selection this year that would really be able to be seen as the best of something or something. So as long as it slightly fits into that character category, so they probably got chucked in there. But yeah.
I mean, they could have just lumped it in a category, maybe possibly Game of the Year?
I don't think they needed that category at all. Literally at all. Like, why?
Okay,
Game of the Year.
I will say there are other categories that are of a similar ilk. This is just the ones, because we can't go through all of them. There are so many, but there was like esports, and there was like simulator game of the year, and that kind of. There are different sections. I just chose best action adventure because that's the one that everybody probably likes the most.
I'm surprised you didn't put simulator game of the year on there.
Well, we all know I'm an expert in simulator games, and if B Simulator was not on there,
you would have revolted.
I'd have flipped my desk.
I cannot confirm or deny whether the B Simulator was in the simulator game. Sorry, I didn't look at it properly.
Cool. So
And the last one, yeah.
Yeah, right. Final category we're going to talk about most anticipated game. We have Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Starfield.
I was speaking about this with Tempus beforehand.
I was just about to say, Nettle, I'll hand it over to you.
I do not think, and I know it's anticipated, but the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is not a fucking title. It should not be on this list yet.
Now
No.
watch Bendy reply.
I am not saying it's not anticipated, but we don't have a release date. We don't have a title.
Wait,
This could be pushed back till 2023.
Starfield isn't due out until 2025.
What?
So why is Starfield
That shouldn't
on that
be
list?
on there. This should be the ones for next year that have been. There's a title and there is a date.
So
The thing with Zelda is it likely they will go, oh, it's coming out next month. That's what they'll do. They'll just go, oh yeah, it's ready and it's coming out next month. So it might be next year. You don't know. Starfield, though, should definitely not be on this fucking list.
I don't care.
Starfield's going to be on this list for the next 4 years.
This is a glorified award for Elden Ring, and that is it.
See, I don't know. I think it's going to be God of War.
No.
See, when I looked at this list, yes, I'm looking forward. Like I said, 3 of them I could have easily gone, yes, that is my most anticipated game, and I would easily switch between them like at any point. It's that close. And Elden Ring and Starfield are neither of those games.
But Elden Ring has had literally a massive... Oh, I just hit my microphone. Elden Ring has had such a hype. Yeah, I've got
No, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was really irritating. She's just bashing stuff on her desk now.
Elden Ring has had such a hype up. Oh, mate,
Destiny
don't.
2 not an ongoing games. Most anticipated games. That's real.
Elden Ring has had such a hype up. Everybody is looking forward to it, including one of the biggest people that are looking forward to it. Just so happens to be the person who does the awards, Jeff Keighley. Mic drop.
Our friend Jeff Keighley.
It is a glorified award for Elden Ring, and that is it.
I want you to win something.
Is it wrong that I'm bored of it already?
I mean, it looks like a beautiful game, but I am not going to play it because it's a Dark Souls-like game.
Yep.
It's FromSoft. Like, unless you are a Soulsborne person, you're not going to go on with this game. Like, I get it. It's probably going to be really freaking beautiful, and it's going to be, and it's Del Toro's involved, right? You know, it's not Del Toro.
Is it George R. R. Martin
involved in the story and stuff? Yeah, like, yes, great, good, but I'm not going to have the patience to play it because I'm going to be shit at it. But yes, I do agree that you're probably right. It's probably going to be Elden Ring, but I hope people go and vote for God of War.
I mean, if I really had to put a vote on something there, I think Horizon Forbidden West would just beat stuff out. Like, literally, it would be so close, but I think I would have to put my vote on that. From what I've seen of it, like gameplay and stuff, and it's the closest thing to coming out, I think, out of any of that. Or plus, no, I think it's going to come out at the same time as Elden Ring, but
yeah, it's February that comes out. I think Forbidden West does.
Oh, can't wait!
It's the same week as The Witch Queen comes out, I think. And Elden Ring, it's a terrible time for gaming for Destiny 2 fans that week. It's just too much. But yeah, I'm going to get crucified for this. I don't care about any of those games. I'm not anticipating anything from them because I won't be playing them.
No, the only one I know I'm going to be playing is Zelda, but you are completely correct in what you're saying. It hasn't got enough yet because we don't have a date.
I mean,
however, it is It's always going to be, for me, any Zelda game that is going to come out is going to be my most anticipated. But that is me because I'm a Zelda fan. Like, I get it. But I do think you're correct. It probably shouldn't be there until we have a release date. At
It's
least.
fine. Do you know what should be on there? Cthulhu Saves the Podcast.
Oh God.
Absolutely. What is that not on there? Jeff,
Keighley,
Indeed.
speak to us.
listen to our podcast.
Speak to us.
Best independent game. Most anticipate. I said it again. Anticipate game.
No, anticipated is definitely correct for that game.
Fuck me. Jesus Christ.
It's probably about as far in development as Starfield is.
Best community support. We've got that.
Shall I tweet at Jeff Keighley? At Jeff Keighley. Where is Cthulhu Saves the Podcast? Where is it? We need to get the licensing from Cthulhu Saves, but I mean, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we can do our own voices for the game.
Who wouldn't want that?
I can do several other accents. I can voice other characters.
No, so we're going, Nettle.
My rangers are angry and even angrier.
Cool. So Nettle's Cthulhu.
I can do Belters from the Expanse, and that's the only other accent I can do.
Please don't do bells from the Expanse. Racist.
Hey! It is literally
the bells.
And so the tangent continues.
And
ridiculously posh.
And that concludes.
Isn't that just British in every film?
I was going to say, yeah, aren't you just how every American sees British people?
Right.
Anyway,
that concludes our Jesus. That concludes our review of the nominees for the Gaming Awards. It's a bunch of corporate hooroo.
Any of you.
This podcast should be called Nettle Gets Angry at the Game Awards.
Jeff Keighley knocking on my door, just like you're a bitch.
Nettle hates Jeff Keighley.
Can you imagine? You just get the director for the upcoming Zelda game turn up in Guildford to knock on the door. Why shouldn't my game be on there? What's wrong with my game? That's the official title. The sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I thought it was pretty good.
And then you need to send him to my house.
I've just ruined somebody else's day. Oh no.
I mean, we've ruined somebody's day during this podcast. We've all made comments.
We do it every week. I'm sure someone gets tilted by us, but I mean, we tilt ourselves half the time.
Yeah.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
Let's swiftly move on from the news.
No.
And we are on to our question of the week, which I have put forth to these two lovely ladies. And my question is, what game that got cancelled? I should maybe say you could go with has been cancelled mid. What's what I'm looking for? Development, or just brought out with supposedly supposed to have like loads more content, but then they just stopped. But what game that got cancelled would you like to see get resurrected? And I think I will start with Bendy on this one.
So, I went with American McGee's Oz. So this was I don't think it ever got into development. It was, I'm guessing, in a similar sort of universe as American McGee's Alice, which I absolutely love. Think they're fantastic games. And obviously it was about Oz from the books, The Wizard of Oz. And American McGee likes to put a really dark spin on stories that everybody knows, like Alice in Wonderland, for example. And I would like to have seen Oz in that sort of dark American McGee way that he does his games. So yeah, that's the one I chose to do. And I've just apparently recently he's something about it where it's going to be a hybrid TV possible game. So
Oh, right.
I might actually have it, but will have TV involved in it. But it's a different to the original one that was cancelled, which is Oz. This is Oz Adventures. So it'll be different.
I think I've literally just found that article.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was not looking at that until I just Googled it again. I was like, oh, okay, cool, good. But that'll be probably a lot in the future, because it's obviously working on the next Alice game at the moment. But yeah, if it comes out, cool. But the original American McGee's Oz was cancelled, and I would have loved to have seen a really dark Oz, really dark, Dorothy, Scarecrow, and the rest.
Yeah,
and the way that he tells his stories, I always intrigued by.
It'd be quite interesting, because like, of all of like the properties that are out there that for like you could make a game for, the Wizard of Oz is something you just don't see.
Yeah.
And it's got such a like vast story to it. I'm actually like thinking on it now. I'm surprised that there isn't something like this. And like reading this article as well, do you know what this reminds me of when it says it's going to be like a TV show, like plus game? Did you ever play Quantum? Is it Quantum Break?
Yeah, I never played it, but I heard it linked quite well. There was another one as well, Defiance.
Right. Yep.
There was a show that got turned into an MMO, but as things happened in the show, the game changed.
Oh, interesting.
And it was really, really good. Like Quantum Break, I heard was brilliant, but I have no reference to being able to say how it linked. But because this was a games as service, when the show changed, the game got to change, which I thought was quite cool. And I played Defiance for a good long while.
I think it was as you played it, like it said, go and watch this video online or something, or you went to the website and it basically played out this cutscene, like little story for you, and then you'd go back to playing the game.
Yeah, like they were just big episode-long cutscenes.
Yeah,
basically, I think had some good actors in it as well.
Yeah, was it Sean Ashmore and I can't remember his name now. Aidan something, is it? His Littlefinger.
Yeah.
But and didn't he have what's his face as well? One of the hobbits. Can't remember now. Can't remember his name. But yeah, it had some good actors in it, which was, I think that's what helped it as well, is people knew who they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd have loved to, like, I don't know why, I just never like really thought about it, but it's just weird that there hasn't been any, like, even just not even like this American McGee Oz, like just nothing with Wizard of Oz as a game.
No, and I do find that weird because, there is a lot of weird tie-in games that are freaking terrible. But you can make a really nice story out of her.
You think about it, you've basically get someone, like you make your character, you get whisked off to Oz and you have to kind of make your way back home, but like you're not Dorothy and you're like following through other like things that have happened since you've been there and stuff like that, and you kind of meet up with the main characters as you go along and they help you out and stuff like that. You could easily make a big like an RPG out of it like that.
Yeah, you are RPG in the world of Oz would be fantastic. Even if it is just like the normal sunny, bright, nice Oz, it's a nice place to be, like in the vein of like Fable.
Yeah,
kind of. And maybe even have elements of the way that you interact with the world also changes the way the world is.
Yeah,
that kind of thing, maybe. I definitely would have liked to have seen the really dark what American McGee could do to, because the way that he changed Wonderland if he had done that for Oz as well, I'm just like, I would love to have seen that.
I think
really,
it'd be
but
very close to more like the Return of Oz style, like darkness, if you know what I mean. Because like obviously Return to Oz, everything's like grey and bleak, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like the beginning of Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. But that's me. That's what I would like, and it might actually be a thing. So
Yeah,
different
Huzzah.
thing.
We're predicting the
There you go,
future.
I wish.
More American McGee, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nettle, what game would you like to see get another lease of life?
So, my game I never actually played, and there was a reason for it. When it came out, it was just terrible. It was one of those games that was very, very highly anticipated. It was going to be amazing. You could play with your friends, and it was going to be such a thrill. And then it came out, and everything was just terrible. And it was Anthem from EA, BioWare. It had so much going for it, and it just wasn't good at all. And you can still play it. However, they are not updating it anymore. And the big 2.0 update that was meant to fix literally everything, that was what was cancelled. So, I mean, we all know what's going to happen next. They'll turn the servers off and that'll be it. There'll be no more Anthem. But it's just such a shame because it had so much potential. Like, you know, you were in these big mech suits and you could do various different things with a bunch of other friends. And, you know, it was one of these games that was labeled the Destiny Killer. Yeah, there never are. But it was going to be so good. And the 2.0 update, if they'd actually managed to do it, probably would have made it so everybody could play it again. And it was actually really good. And it had great endgame content. And, like, the bugs that were really pissing people off would have been fixed. But they just decided not to. They just said, nah, can't bother, and cancelled it. And we have another...
It's a shame.
Another really good game that could have been made really well that just went into nothingness.
See, I never played it.
No, I didn't either. I was waiting for 2.0 to come out. That was the thing. I was waiting for 2.0 to come out, and now it's not. And it's really annoying, and I really... Sorry, go on.
I was like, it feels like they just need to learn from No Man's Sky. Like, No Man's Sky is getting an uptick in people wanting to play it because they are actually just doing what they said they would. They are updating it, and Anthem could have been the same, but they're just like, nah. Well, if no one played it at the beginning, no one's going to play it now. But that's not the point about games of service. Yeah, blah blah blah. Games of a service, like you update them and then you bring people in with updates. Don't just sack it off because you couldn't make a decent game at the beginning. Just give us 2.0 and then maybe people will actually play it.
Yeah. So EA kind of came out and basically blamed it on COVID, saying we couldn't get people to work on it, blah 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 blah. It's just like it's got nothing to do with that.
No, people like
just couldn't be bothered.
Games have been developed at home all through COVID. That's just a cop out for the fact that they probably just couldn't be asked to put any more money into it.
It's annoying. In my opinion, they should sell the IP to a studio who has experience in this kind of thing and can do it well, and just get rid of it and let somebody else go with it. Because the concept is fantastic. They've just let it die, as EA tend to do.
Well, it's on. The thing is, it's on EA Play as well at the moment, and if you've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you have access to that. So, I mean, you can give it a go at the moment. But
I mean, yeah, for free, give it a go. But it's just such a shame that such a game that had so much put into it and could have done so well. And like, look at the javelins, the things that you like wander around in the open areas. They're gorgeous. They're amazing suits, and they had like the stuff that you could do with them just sounded incredible. But it's just like you let it die. You let this amazing idea just wash by because you couldn't be bothered to fix it. So that is my game that I'm sad. Like, it's still going, but the thing that would have fixed it got cancelled. which means it's just going to be another dead game sooner or later. And it is actually going to be a dead game because they will not spend the money on the servers for it after a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
He's sad.
Yeah, it's a shame that when they just let things like this go, yeah, it might, it didn't do what they wanted it to do in the beginning. But as Bendy said, you just look at No Man's Sky; they bit off more than they could chew. But they've gone back to the drawing board. They've got themselves righted. They've developed it into like a game that people actually want to play.
Yeah,
I think it's just
No Man's
laziness,
Sky. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I've said this 3 times already. It's just EA. That's what they love to do. They cannot be bothered to make things better. The EA, Microsoft as well. All of these publisher studios are just horrible, sucking entities that bring in really nice studios and then fuck them over. It happened with Microsoft and Fable. It's they just
Fable though is being resurrected.
It's being resurrected by a completely different studio from the Lionhead is no more. It died. It's gone. I am currently working with 2 of the leads from that studio in my studio. So it's being done by a completely different studio. So we have no idea what it's going to be like.
Tell them that I love their game.
I will, don't worry.
They know about you because I imagine they listen to the podcast. So
I hope so. And I'm like, oh no,
Oh,
I made a game
no.
for that insane person. I was like, yeah.
Talking about Fable, obviously Fable had Fabled Legacy that was cancelled. Another big MMO type game.
That would have been fun.
But I'm not going to go into that
MMO
because I've already had a massive go at people today. And Jesus, this is literally just turning into a Nettle gets angry at everything. But yeah, that was
an angry episode.
Nettle smash.
Name of podcast.
Yeah. That was I am sad that this game got cancelled.
Very good. Very good. I
Tempus.
will talk about my game now then. I don't know if either of you would have heard of this, but it's a game called Scalebound.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Nettle, had you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Right. Basically, Platinum Games made an action RPG game where you were an adventurer with you could do magic and you used your weapons and that, but you basically rode a dragon around the world. And when you was in fights, you could command the dragon to fight armies with you. It looked amazing. They dropped a trailer, I think in 2015 at E3 gameplay trailer. It looked amazing. It was due to come out at the end of 2016. They pushed it to 2017, and then they just dropped it. No word of it afterwards. I think the game was probably more or less ready to go.
Done. Yeah.
And they just went, nah.
And didn't it have some kind of music element to it as well? Like it had, there was something to do with beats of music and how you control the dragons or something like that.
I know you could command them.
He was definitely wearing headphones. I might be have misconstrued that totally, but yeah.
From what I'm because I've had the wiki up on the computer just to kind of refresh myself because it has been a long time. There was a rumor as well that it was going to be resurrected on the Switch at one point, but I'm not sure how true that is because it looked like a massive game. But then the Switch has been porting bigger games recently anyway. But it basically there's no crafting system, it said, but basically it was a bit like Breath of the Wild. Like your weapons degraded, so you'd have to get yourself new weaponry and things like that. You'd encounter massive enemies or quite if you was playing on your own, huge numbers of enemies, and you'd be like, well, I'm screwed. But then you've got a dragon on your side, so it's just not that bad. But it's the thing is, they went through a long time. I think 2013 was when they first tried to get this kind of going, and they made where was it? Oh no, 2006. Sorry, they've wanted to do it for a long time, and then no one wanted it, so they made like Bayonetta, and then they made Wonderful 101, and then they finally got the go ahead in 2013 to make this game. They made this quality gameplay trailer for E3 in 2015, and then as it's about to be released, they kind of just pulled the rug out from under it, and then like no one's seen it or anything of it. But like if you watch the E3 gameplay, like cinematic gameplay trailer, whatever, it just looks so good. I watched it again last night after I'd thought of this question. But yes, that's the game I was most anticipating for, because I think it was going to be an Xbox exclusive as well.
Xbox One and Microsoft Windows.
Yeah. So
I'm just reading the blurb on this, and my rage levels are going up, guys.
Oh my god.
Microsoft Studios announced the cancellation in 2017. That was 6 months after they shut down Lionhead and cancelled Fabled Legacy. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Fuck Microsoft.
Nettie rages the podcast.
Sorry, I just get annoyed about this. It's basically done. Why are you putting all of these people, like, basically out of a job at this point?
I think the annoying part was the game was good to go.
Done.
As far as I can see. It was like you just needed to put it out there and earn your money
The money
back.
was spent. Just do it.
What would it have hurt to put this game out?
So annoying.
Because it looks like they were going to add multiplayer to it as well.
Imagine 4 people just riding around on dragons.
Oh, don't.
Don't.
I'm sad. Although
Microsoft, call us.
Yeah.
Get Scalebound out.
To be fair, like speaking of that, it reminds me of a campaign I did think of for D&D, because there was a class I found, like a homebrew class called Dragon Rider, and you basically all had a dragon, and then like your subclasses determined what kind of dragon rider you were. And I was going to make this world where it was like absolutely massive, and you was just fighting huge giants and trolls and other dragons and things like that in this world, but everyone had their own dragon.
Is it just like a spin on the mounted combatant, except you're riding a dragon? Because that sounds fun to me.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want their own dragon?
Absolutely, I would love that. It's really annoying.
This is my dragon. His name is Timothy.
Timothy the dragon.
Timothy Dragonscale.
The
third.
Oh god, we're getting into D&D again, aren't we?
Yeah. Sorry, Nettle. Carry on.
No, I was
When
going to
you
say.
get into our campaign, you're going to talk about it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. But until that point, I'm gonna moan.
Move us along.
I was literally just reading. Apparently, Microsoft own the intellectual property for it as well. The Platinum Games don't, so there is no way that's coming out.
Yeah.
At all. No way. That's you're useless, Microsoft. Seriously.
But like, I watched the gameplay trailer from yesterday. Again, from 2015. This was like 6 years ago now, like 6.5 years since we've seen it, and it still looked good. If you'd have shown me that now, I'd have thought you were showing me a new game. It's so disappointing, because as soon as I heard about this, I was so amped for it, and it's just, you broke me, Microsoft.
Bad.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Get in the corner.
Everyone at Microsoft, you're to blame.
You're to blame, Microsoft.
Even you, coffee boy.
And you, unpaid intern.
That's it. Oh, by the way, the title of the episode should be the Unnamed Raging Podcast.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Definitely writing that down.
Unnamed Raging Podcast.
Raging podcast. Nettle is actually a barbarian.
Yeah. So that's my contribution to this episode.
Bendy hasn't
So,
raged at all. I'm kind of disappointed.
I'm usually raging quite a bit, so
I was
it's
gonna say,
usually me.
one week Bendy's just going to go off the deep end.
Could be it.
It'll be when they delay Breath of the
Zelda.
Wild or something. But, yeah.
Probably. Or they cancel it. I'll be like, what? What, Nintendo? Ah!
We've decided to go in a different direction. Zelda is now a kart racing game.
Fuck you.
Don't
Don't even joke about it.
I put it in the universe. It's out there.
It's out there now.
Oh, do not. You try and like put that
And
into existence. You put
There'll
that
be like
in the universe.
chibi racers as well.
Nintendo, call us.
Yeah, I've got ideas for Zelda. Just scrap it. I've got better ideas.
Good for
And-
you.
Yeah, I think that should be where we end the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us rant and rave. We always seem to bring the hot topics. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week. But before we go, Nettle, where can we find you?
If there's anybody left listening, you can find me on literally everywhere as Nettle Creates.
Perfect. Bendy?
I am Bendy Ben's costuming everywhere. Thanks.
You're welcome. You can find me absolutely everywhere on the interwebs as Tempus B, all one word. All links will be below everywhere you can find us. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, Google, Apple, iTunes, everything, because, we want people to hear
YouTube.
us. Yes.
You watch us on YouTube. We'll do an actual facey one soon at some point when we work out those logistics.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure that can be done. Well, you can do it on Discord.
Yeah.
You can do it with video camera. So, but yes, thank you for listening. All our links will be below. We look forward to speaking to you again next week. We hope you enjoyed joining us this week. But from us, that's goodbye.
Bye.
We love you. Goodbye.